Bukayo Saka agrees a brand new deal with Arsenal. Mark Guehi is on the cards as well and could be arriving at the Emirates Stadium. We're looking at the title race after both Man City and Arsenal draw this week. Still a 6-point gap for the Gunners. Has it changed anything in your opinions? We'll be looking at the fallout of last night's game with Martinelli as well, plus talking Victor Gyoekres. And we were meant to be asking Staffy about the future of Man United. He actually asked us to start at 3:00 and he just hasn't turned up. We don't know where he is. We hope he is safe and well. He has spoken out recently about Ineos, so maybe they've got him. Plus, we're looking at Chelsea as Liam Rosenior, or Rosenior, as Judge Mo calls him, is starting his tenure as Chelsea manager this weekend. Please like, share, subscribe, put it across your social media platforms. Don, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, I was on a hot seat last week and that, but we're back. We're back, people.
No, you were in the hot seat last week. And listen, I actually wanted to start by talking about Man United with Staffy and then go into Chelsea and everything else. But we'll start with Chelsea, as Staffy has decided to, I don't know, sleep in today or whatever it may be. Maybe his internet's down. But it's been a weird couple of weeks with, obviously, Enzo Maresca going. You had a brilliant result, I felt, in the backdrop of everything that was going on away at Man City. And then, obviously, a disappointing game and result away against Fulham. Gyoekres' red card really changed the game because I felt that you were the better team until that point. But overall, how are you feeling about the future now? Liam Rosenior in? Talk to us.
Bro, I'm just literally going week by week with Chelsea right now, Terry. Because one thing about us, we're just so unpredictable, man. You know, starting the year with Maresca sacking, literally the first day of the year, right? And then bringing in Matisse straight after and whatnot. And I'm seeing a lot of people right now are writing him off. You know, they're getting Potter vibes from him, which is fair enough because end of the day, like, he hasn't really got any Premier League experience. But then again, Maresca didn't have any Premier League experience, right? But the main thing for me, Terry, when it comes to Rosenior, is just the intangibles of managing a big club like Chelsea. You know, the pressure that comes with it. Because managers like Poch, they really struggled with it. Managers like Graham Potter, they really struggled with it. But for now, I think in terms of the coaching aspect of things, I definitely like his style of play. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how he sees the game, how he talks about the game. I don't know if you guys used to watch a show a few years ago called The Debate. He used to be on Sky Sports. He used to be on there a lot. You know what I mean? And every time I used to listen to him, I used to think, oh, this guy definitely knows what he's talking about. And I think shortly after that, he went to Derby with Wayne Rooney, right? The main thing that we need right now, Terry, we just need a manager that's going to come in and start to improve the players in the team who've been underperforming, right? We need a variety of attacking patterns because Chelsea have become too much cross FC, and we don't have the striker to be crossing in the ball the way that we do, yeah? It's time to be playing some passes through the midfield. It's time to be, playing some cutbacks from the wingers. It's time to be overlapping the fullbacks as well. You know, we just need a manager right now that's going to take it back to basics and get the best out of the squad. Start to trust more players like Hato. Start to trust more players like Andre Santos, right? I've been going back and forth with so many Chelsea fans, Terry, telling me, Santos ain't good enough. Hato ain't good enough. That's why he hasn't been playing. Bro, Santos came on against City the other day, and if it's not for him, we lose that game comfortably for me. Yeah, Hato came on against City, played really well. Hato came on for Cuckoo the other day, did really well. You know what I mean? Santos, before he came off, when we got the 10 men, he did really well. So that's what we need now. We need him to start to trust these players, bro.
On that, let's say he doesn't trust. Let's just say it's the third manager running that's sort of playing too many people out of position, not trusting certain players. Do you then start to look at it and go, maybe they're just in that? If Liam Rosenior isn't playing them regularly, if Liam Rosenior's got one man out of position because he doesn't think Hato's good enough or doesn't think Santos is good enough, is that when you look at it and start to say, you know what, 3 managers running, maybe I've just misassessed this person. I haven't assessed this guy right. He isn't good enough. Because I don't disagree. I look at it and think there's definitely areas and things that Maresca got wrong. But is Liam Rosenior going to be the guy to change that? Or are we looking at a scenario where some of these players just are not of the quality or consistency if Liam is also leaving them out in the future.
Yeah, I think for me, Terry, like, I think he will use the squad more in it, because that's one of the major things that they spoke about Maresca not doing, you know, and he's spoken about it quite a lot since coming in, saying, yo, there's a squad of players here that I like, and I'm fully aligned with what they want from me. You know, what they wanted from Maresca was to be playing the likes of Santos. They're looking at it thinking, bro, this guy was in the team of the year last year. Why is he not playing? You're looking at Hato. Hato was Ajax's captain. Why is he not playing? You know what I mean? So I do think that Rosenior will play them more. And then that will allow me to actually judge them, Terry. Because it's similar to Madueke. With Madueke, I used to say all the time, give this guy a run of games so he can actually improve and develop. I sold my stocks with Madueke because I saw enough of him, Terry, and he just wasn't really improving. So I was like, clearly you're just not that good. You know what I mean? Because you've got the minutes now. There's no excuses for you. And that's what I want for these players, bro. I don't want to be giving them the excuses of they're not playing, so I can't really judge them. Let me see them a lot, right? Or see them adequately for me to really make a judgment on them. I don't want to just be saying, oh, they're not playing because of the manager. Let me see for myself. You know what I'm saying, bro? Let me see for myself. That's how I kind of look at it. But to answer your question, I do think he'll play those guys more, especially Santos. He really likes Santos in France.
Yep. And who knew sporting directors, when they see something they're not really happy with, speak to their managers?
Yeah, I mean, this week's been the maddest week. Man United fans, I have to say, some Man United fans are idiots. We're going to get onto United later. They just have part of it's my ego talking. I'm not going to lie. When I see everyone suddenly going at the Glazers and ownership, I just think, where are you at the right times? It's always at the weirdest times. But the idea that sporting directors shouldn't be talking to managers about what they should do in their jobs is crazy. I actually saw United fans today, Don, KJ, say, how dare the owner in Sir Jim suggest that a back four might work better? How dare he? It's not his job. At the same time as the fans have been demanding we play four at the back. It doesn't make sense.
It's because they hate them. It's because they hate them.
Yeah.
And it makes logical sense. And even with us, right? One of the main things that came out in the Athletic about Maresca and the lineups, it specifically spoke about the medical team, Terry. Yeah, it said the medical team are the ones who, you know, would say who can play X amount of minutes, can play X amount of games in a week or whatever. And I don't mind that, because one of the major things that we had a problem with before was the old medical team and how Poch used to rush back players, how we had so many players that would get injured. Last season, one of the main things that we propped Maresca about was, he's actually managed to keep the team fit, right? The likes of Reece have stayed fit a lot longer. You know what I mean? Neto, bro, this guy used to be battered at Wolves all the time. He's usually fit at Chelsea. I think he's only ever had like 2 little knocks at Chelsea, right? So you can't be praising how he's been able to keep the players fit, but then be against the medical team helping him keep these players fit. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
you know
it's their job. It's their job. If your medical team was not assessing the players, was not saying, oh, they're in the red zone, they're in the green zone, here's what we recommend for minutes for the players, and they just kept getting injured, your club would be like, your fans would be like, sack the medical department. I've seen it so many times, even at Arsenal and United, where they go after the medical department when it's not the medical department's fault. Oh, someone broke their leg in a game. Our medical department sucks. I'm just like, but how does that make no sense?
Yeah. So this is the thing. I feel if Clearlake are picking players because they want to maintain value, that's a problem. If they're picking players, if they're picking players because they think they know better than the manager on a game-by-game basis, just, I prefer Santos over Enzo, pick him or else you're going to lose your job, that is wrong. But the medical department saying this guy shouldn't get more than 60 minutes, we should listen to. We saw it the other day. Darren Fletcher was called a puppet because he said the club and the medical team, again, right now he's the caretaker manager. The caretaker manager should not have full autonomy over anything because you're the caretaker manager. The club said, please don't play, based on the medical advice, please don't play Bruno more than 60 minutes. We do that, and it's puppet. If he'd have played him for the 90 minutes and not been a puppet and his hamstring pulled again, it would have been you clueless fool. This is my issue with football fans. Depending on whether we like our sporting directors, like our owners, we pick and choose. And there's a comment here from Twisted I want to go to.
Yeah.
This is nonsense. Terry, a fan can't impose their opinion and will on a manager. Okay. but you twisted as someone who often agrees with Standards FC. Moan, scream, whinge, and abuse until the highest standards are adhered to. So you either agree with pushing those standards because you believe that if enough fans do it, that will be imposed so the standards are maintained, or we're saying there's zero power of fans. Therefore, if there's zero power from the fans, it is right to tell the whinging negative people to shut up because it's just jarring. If you're moaning and your standards have zero impact on your club, why are you talking? That is a waste of oxygen. I believe what we say does have an influence, and I believe sometimes fans maybe not shouldn't be listened to in intricate detail, but I think sometimes we're right. Every Man United fan knew that our shape was causing us problems. Every Chelsea fan knew that, and you saw it actually the other night against Fulham, and I blame it still on Maresca for this. Chelsea have not been, by and large, a very well-drilled team when they've gone down to 10 men. And that's a training issue that can be addressed. Some teams are harder to play when they go down to 10 men. So this is my issue. 1 minute we are saying fans should be listened to. The next minute we're saying, oh, we have no power. If you have no power, then shut the fuck up.
And the thing is as well, Terry, like when it comes to the other side of things, because they spoke about apparently, you know, the lineups and having to play certain players to maintain their value. But to me, I was like, that point don't even make sense, because surely if you wanted to maintain or, you know, raise players' values, the likes of Santos, the likes of Hato, the likes of Guehi, these guys would be playing more, right? Keeping them on the bench actually reduces their value, which is the opposite of what the article was saying. So again, that's when I'm like, that's clear. That's a clear contradiction of the whole valuation thing. Yeah. These guys are meant to be up there, like young players to develop, and they get more expensive as the season goes on. Their value was dropping, bro. I had so many people talking to me like Hato's just any guy, Terry, as if Arsenal weren't chasing this guy for ages. Yeah. Like Santos is just a guy that can't just go to United right now and start for Man United right now, bro. Yeah. Go to teams like Man City and help them out. Go to teams like Arsenal and help them out. You know? So for me, it's like when it comes to this PR, bro, I've got a mind of my own. Yeah. I've been criticizing Maresca before any of this PR. I've been criticizing the sporting directors before any of this PR. But the problem that you get, Terry, is when your take isn't popular, or you're not just going with the wind and going off with what everyone's saying, you're a BlueCo puppet, and you love BlueCo. And for me, it's like, no. I told you last week, fuck BlueCo right now, because they don't want to get rid of these sporting directors. I still don't trust them. I want them gone. Yeah. People can say get Egbali out, but I don't think that's realistic. I don't think Egbali is going to go anywhere. The next best thing we can do is go and get recruiters that know what they're doing and execute the plan that they want to implement. Because the plan that they want to implement, bro, those two upstairs can't do it. I don't trust them.
No, but you
can change the method.
But they are executing the plan. They are executing the plan BlueCo wants. That's why they're still here.
Nah, bro. I'm telling you, man, they can get starting level quality 8KJ. They ain't got to keep getting squaddies, bro.
No, I can, and I agree with you. But clearly with BlueCo, this is what they want, because didn't they give them new contracts like a couple of months ago? And they were long contracts. They weren't like no short thing. They were long new contracts. So they're clearly doing the job that they are being asked of.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, isn't it? Because obviously from their point of view, it's like we've won the Club World Cup, we've won the Conference League, and you know, we've just finished and we've won these trophies. So something must be working. But when you look at it over 38 games, their project is failing, right? Aston Villa, how much did Aston Villa spend in the summer, KJ?
What? Under 100 mil, under 150?
Under 100. Bro, they're what, 12 points ahead of us? That's clear indication that your project is failing. That is a clear indication right there, bro.
It is, but I think as KJ said, the owners have given them new deals. They haven't lost their jobs. They've kept them. They've stated, and I don't think this is PR, I think this is the honest truth. They've stated they are not changing the wage structure. They are not changing the type of profile of player, age profile of player they buy. And the funny thing is, there'll be a handful of young players that are ready to start, but they are so few and far between. If you look at Esteval, very talented. He is not ready to start 38 games in the Premier League in the season. And most 18-year-old attackers in the history of football you've got Yamals and you've got Rooney's. Even Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi at 18 weren't ready to play every single game of the season. So you're never going to kind of get that right. Before I go back on the BlueCo, I want to ask you, what's your thoughts on the appointment of Liam Rosenior? Are you behind this? Do you believe he's the guy to take you to that next level? What's your thoughts on him individually as a manager?
Bro, the thing that I've got, right, a problem with, Terry, is a lot of Chelsea fans don't like dealing with the reality. Yeah. Because the reality is this is the structure, this is the method that BlueCo even let's say Blue Lake there. This is the process with BlueCo. They want to get these young players, right? And they want a manager that's going to come in and coach the team. Yeah. So you want the manager to be aligned with what the sporting directors are doing and what the ownership are doing. Because I don't want to be again complaining, Terry, that this is another manager that's refusing to use the squad. You know what I'm saying, bro? So for me, it's like, okay, I'm glad that Rosenior's kind of sort of come out and said, listen, their values and my values, they align. Yeah. Because in the end, Maresca and their values, bro, it didn't align. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with the fact that they didn't back him with some starters in the summer, right? But what I like right now about Rosenior is that he seems to understand what he's walked into, if that makes sense. And whether people want to call him a yes man, cool, you can call him a yes man. But I'd rather him understand what he's walking into, so later on he can't try to complain. Yeah, I want someone that can do the job that they're asking to be done. You know what I mean, bro? And that doesn't mean that I want this process, because again, I want starting level quality going forward. But the reality is, this is what they keep doing. Yeah, so we need a manager that is willing to help and develop these young players that they're buying and investing in, and hopefully from there we can kick on. You know what I mean, bro? Because at the end of the day, I feel like the players that we've got, they can definitely be getting better results than this, man. And the good thing is, Terry, he's walked into a period, right, where we've got Wolves away in February, we've got Leeds at home, and we've got Burnley at home. Yeah, United just had those games and got 3 points. We need to get 9. You know what I'm saying, bro? We need to get 9 out of them. You know, so that's where I'm looking at it. I'm happy that he seems to align with what they want. So that should mean that they can work in harmony together. Maresca and the directors, they didn't work in harmony together. And I understand why. You know what I mean?
So you're supportive of this appointment. You think this is a good appointment?
For what they're asking for, yeah, I do. For what they're asking for, yeah, I do. I do, bro. I do.
You sort of see it. I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. I don't want to misrepresent you. So what you're saying is it's not so much about him. You probably identify he's not an experienced or a top level coach, but he agrees with BlueCo and Clearlake's vision of football. He likes the profiles and the age range that the SDs are buying. Yeah. And he agrees with the direction. Therefore, if you put it all together, you're going to get a much better Chelsea because everybody's in harmony.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that I was talking about Maresca as well. Because when Maresca came in, he spoke about how he loved the squad and, you know, there's some top players here and, you know, he loves the values from the ownership and whatnot. But then obviously come the summer, you know, after he elevated himself, he wanted better. And that's fair. You know what I mean? That's fair. But that's where I'm begging these sporting directors, bro. If they want Liam to kick on and to compete for the league, Terry, and to keep winning the majors, he needs to be backed properly. Regardless of him coming in, having to coach the team, they still need to do their part as well. You know what I'm saying? They can't just keep giving man, you know, squaddies and expecting him to compete, because we're not going to compete like that. We're not going to compete like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how I kind of look at it right now. I'm just hoping that they can work in harmony together, man, because I'm tired of the fighting and, you know, 1 second you say you know what you signed up to, but the next second, you know, something happens down the line. You know what I mean, bro? So that's how I'm kind of looking at it right now. I'm just dealing with the reality, people. That's what I'm dealing with. And a lot of Chelsea fans don't like the reality, man.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Man United and Chelsea in this weird, like, kind of connection right now.
We have said to you for a long time, Don, our clubs at the moment are not too dissimilar from each other. In terms of the divide in the fan base, I always feel, sorry, I'm going back to KJ, but I feel like there's this element of, there's definitely things you've said that are right. There's definitely things I feel you've said that are wrong, but it's everybody wants to live in like one polarized group, like everything's wrong or everything's right. And I'm a bit like, that just can't be the reality. But sorry, KJ, I interjected. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I think with Liam Rosenior, I was looking at him because I was intrigued about his journey. Obviously, being at Derby, with like Wayne Rooney, covered there for a bit, went to Holland. The whole fans weren't happy that he actually got sacked. You know what I mean? He did a decent job over there, but then obviously it didn't work out. Going to Strasbourg and being part of this BlueCo model, doing well. You know what I mean? Like getting Conference League in the end, but they're in the top 4 in the league on for a while. Very exciting young coach. But then I'm wondering, how early is it in his career for this to come through? You know, and it'd be the same with like any manager, like the McKennas, like those kind of like Iriolas. they've got these reputations, but how early is it for these managers to come into these clubs? Because it's more than just listening to BlueCo now. You know, like at Strasbourg, that's all you have to do. Listen to BlueCo, do your thing, and you'll be fine. No one covering Strasbourg. No one cares. Now you get in Chelsea, the pressure that comes with it, not just the managing of the players and your relationship with the board, but now your management of the press and the fans are even more important than you've ever experienced. So you know what? It's gonna make Arsenal fans are gonna be upset with me when I say this. This recent trend, I blame Arteta and Arsenal. I blame Arteta and Arsenal because it's not a bad thing, by the way. You guys do what you want to do to get to the top. It's fine, but they've kind of helped set a precedent that if you get a young coach who's got strong principles, you slowly build with him, you can eventually get to a place where you are challenging. Now, let's not lie to ourselves. Modern day football clubs, as long as you're in the top 4 and you look like you could challenge, they're cool. You don't need to win the league every year. Barring the likes of maybe Man City and maybe the Real Madrids, maybe Barcelona. Now, besides those few clubs, Bayern Munich, everyone else, they're cool. Top 4, Champions League, look like you could go on and win the league. They're happy. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And
let me read this comment as well. This is a good question. Yeah. So Footy Corner, big up Footy Corner. He says, so do you think it's a good appointment because they are aligned, or do you hope the plan changes? Because I'm getting mixed signals here, bro. It's both. Yeah. I think it's a good appointment because I think they're aligned in how they view the game. But at the same time, for Liam to actually, again, break that mold of competing, because, bro, Chelsea haven't competed for the league since we last won it. Yeah. For us to get to the next level, he is not going to be able to do that with the current model of squad players. They now need to do their part and help him and bring in starters. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm with changing the model at the top and you know, being a little bit flexible. But in terms of being aligned, I think that's a good thing, bro. I think that's a good thing for sure, man.
It is a good thing to be aligned. The problem comes though with, and I know you want a manager that's aligned, but this is why I get this question, because what you're essentially saying is you agree with what Maresca was asking for, which is start buying me. And we all know when I say experience, I mean experience, top class players, 24, 25, 26 in that age range and above. So you're agreeing with what Maresca was asking for. You want the club to do that. My sort of question is, when do you want to see him change that? Because Liam Rosenior is coming in now and they're aligned, but how long do you give it until you back Liam Rosenior to ask BlueCo to change the model?
Oh, bro, in the summer. I don't think we're going to do anything in January, Terry. So realistically, in the summer, I want to see starting level players coming in. I've said this from early. Yeah. I've said this from early doors, bro. It's enough is enough. We've got more than enough squad players. Because if you're looking at the team right now, Terry, yeah, and you go, look at this guy. Man just woke up.
Is. Yo, where you been? Man got drafted in for you, mate.
Look at him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know, we know exactly. He wasn't sleeping. He was definitely at a girl's house. 100%.
Is that allowed? Is that allowed stuff?
Think about it like this, Terry. Think about it like this.
He's American. Of course it's allowed. Nothing's working either. Internet's broken. Mic's gone. Look, come back when you're ready, Staffy. Come back when you're ready. Sorry, Don. Don.
This guy's a joker. No, I'm saying think about it like this. Let's say you've got Delap on the bench. You've got an option like a Garnacho on the bench. And then in the starting 11, you've got players like Rodgers. You've got players like, I don't know, Ekitike. You've got players like Rodrigo or Ndiaye on the left, right? Straight away, you're looking at the signings that they made before and you're like, yo, you're building a good squad here, right? And that's why last week when you were saying about my tweet, when I said they're building a squad, I was using that in present tense because the window is yet to be shut, right? They were building a squad. And for now, in order to get to the next level, we need starting level quality in the team, bro. We need guys that are ready to be starting week in, week out majority of the time. Because if you're depending on these guys to develop together, bro, Arsenal are going to keep improving. They could win the league this season, Terry. Yeah. All of a sudden, that's giving them even more clout now in the summer. That's giving them even more money in the summer.
If you look at who they're linked to, they're actually two defenders, but they're linked at the moment to Guehi, and there's also now a link coming out saying they're looking at the situation with Livramento. They're looking to continue adding quality. Chelsea City want Guehi. I reckon City might get him this month. They've just signed Semenyo. The issue is that all these teams keep improving They're or attempting to do it. And if you guys don't, if you're always just buying kids and selling some kids,
there's a cap. You're handicapping. Hold on, KJ, before you come in. What you're doing, if you keep doing that, right? You're handicapping the levels that the team can get to. There's only so much Palmer, Caicedo, Reece, and these guys can do without further quality in the team, right? And that's where I feel sorry for them, because I used to say this about Roman all the time, Terry, with the likes of Hazard and Kante. Those guys were playing with dross, yeah? Hazard and Kante left England with 2 Premier Leagues. That's it, bro. Kante won 1 Prem at Chelsea, bro, and it still hurts me till this day, yeah? So that's where I'm looking at it thinking, bro, we can't let the likes of Palmer, Caicedo, and these guys get older, because they're already getting older. They've already been here 3-4 years, some of them, yeah? They'll start to leave. If you start to bring more guys to develop and help them and that, they'll go somewhere that's ready now. They'll go to Arsenal and say, oh, Arsenal are ready to win right now. Let me just go there, and I've just got to go in there, get some goals and assists. I'll pick up the Premier League end of the season, yeah? Whereas with Chelsea, it's like, are we going to compete? We'll be a top 4 thing again. Okay, maybe we'll go on a nice run in the Champions League and get FA Cup here and there. I'm sorry, bro. My belly is starving. I want to be back up there competing for the league and winning the Premier League, bro.
I hear you.
I've got a question before.
Go on, because I've got to run to the super chat. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So back to the original comment was about the mixed signals thing, right? So essentially, you're saying you're happy that Rosenior is aligned because that just brings harmony to the club, which I agree with. But then you also hope that they change their model to be more serious. Okay.
Yes.
Now the question would be, if that happened, do you believe Rosenior could then handle the pressure and the squad that comes with having top-level starters, top-level egos, players that are borderline world-class? If all that happens like you wanted, do you think Rosenior could handle that?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, KJ. The thing is, he's dealt with quite a lot of adversity already in his career, if you think about it. You know, last year he went into Strasbourg. People didn't even know who he was. He finished 4 points behind Champions League, innit, in the end. So he overperformed there. I read up on a lot yesterday about his time at Derby as well. And Rooney was basically saying how he was the one that was implementing 90% of the tactics when they did really well. When they went down, he was the one that was still sort of managing them. And then they gave the job to someone else that was a little bit more experienced. And he wasn't happy about that. But you can clearly see that this is a guy that knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of the intangibles, KJ, it's hard to really answer it. But what I'm gauging from the guy is that he knows how to handle the media. That's the good thing about him, right? I feel like, he's very articulate. I feel like he'll be able to handle, very brainy. I feel like he'll be able to handle the media a lot better than Maresca. Because some of the things that Maresca was saying sometimes, I'm like, bro, come on, man, you're pillow talking too much. You know what I mean?
He's got what I like about Liam Rosenior. I heard him first talk maybe 10 years ago. I heard it the first time I heard him talk was when him and his dad did an interview. It was for like Football Focus. It must have been 15, 20 years ago. Even then, you listen to him as like, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, although it will sound horrible. There's only ever been a handful of footballers that when you hear them talk, they're intelligent. Clark Carlisle didn't play at the highest level, but he was another just intelligent. Like Liam Rosenior, I wouldn't be surprised if he went on something like Celebrity Mastermind and won, or I'm a Celebrity. Who's a million, like the Chase Celebrity Edition, and he beats the Chasers. Like, he's a very intelligent guy. Let's do some super chats here. First one says, Terry is right that the last 3 Chelsea managers, Potter, Poch and Maresca, were all appointed and were aligned with the board. But after a period of time, each one of them said that won't work to win anything. I suppose, again, this is the issue you've got. If it ends up happening 4 times in a row, Liam Rosenior in the summer just says, oh, look, we're really good, but we needed... I'm not even going to mention names, because as soon as you start mentioning players' names, everybody gets in their feelings about their personal preference. They don't understand what a hypothetical example is. But if he says, I wanted this elite striker, and they went out and got me this 20-year-old from France or this 20-year-old from Belgium, that's when I think Chelsea fans have just got to wake up and smell the coffee and say, you can't, 4 or 5 managers running can't be wrong, if that makes sense. You have to start looking at the way it's being run.
The thing is, on that as well, Terry, just just to respond back to that, right? I would have respected Maresca a lot more if he had just left in the summer, because people keep bringing this down to, it's the summer, that's the reason why he's not happy. Yeah, that was part of it. But end of the day, I feel like Maresca himself, he knew what he signed up to and he locked in for the season. Yeah. And he run away. I feel like this guy's taking no accountability of the fuckeries that he was doing. And this is coming from a guy who wanted Maresca. I was telling you, look, this guy's going to do well. I didn't want him sacked. Yeah. But the way that he's just throwing away all accountability on his shit managing, I'm like, brother, have some shame.
We're the same thing. We're the same. We are the same thing.
You are right in that, Don. And I feel that this has happened at Man United. For some reason, the same United fans who I saw moan every week about his subs, his lack of intent to win, the ostracization of Mainu, the way he spoke about the academy, for some weird reason, in the last week, every single Man United fan is ignoring that. And it's like our protests. I'm not against the protests. I hope they go well. I'll share them. Obviously, I'm not involved in anything that the 1958 do. They blocked me, and a few of their members actually sent me death threats. sent me death threats. Well, yeah, death threats when I suggested that we should, yes, protest, but talk about pulling money away from the football club, because I still believe that's the only way to get the Glazers out is by pulling our money, because I still think protest, brilliant, chant, brilliant, sing songs, brilliant. But if you then go into the grounds, buy a beer, buy a pie, buy a program, half of you go into the mega store and buy your kids a shirt, the Glazers will sit there and go, look at these lot. They're protesting. And we do it in politics, didn't we? Americans are worse. There's like, oh, we need reform. Who are you going to vote for? Well, same party, no matter what they do. Like you get those people in all walks of life. I won't change from voting Labour no matter what they do. I won't change being Conservative no matter what goes on. And you almost feel like those people are a big problem, because you can never enforce change because they're going to go with the status quo anyway. But we're going through the same thing. I think Maresca deserves criticism for a fair number of games that you lost. I think Clearlake, having not evolved their project to buying those top class players and paying the salaries that come with them, deserve their criticism. And some of the players just maybe aren't good enough. And I did a video, it's dropping later today on my other channel. I think we lose it. And I blame the football pundits for this. I think the football pundits of today and the journalists of today are destroying a generation of football fans by always pushing out this hyper polarized, one size fits all, silver bullet, solution based analysis, which we saw it with United. We'll keep it on United to show this is right across the board. So every week on Sky, under Ruben Amorim, does three at the back work? Is he aggressive enough? Does he make the right subs? His system. Oh, by the way, did I tell you they mentioned his system? We play Burnley with no Ruben. And what are the pundits talking about on the panel? It ain't really about the system. It's about the quality of the player. It's about the quality of the player. Forget the system. It's about the quality of the player. And by the way, boys, did I tell you they said it was about the quality of the player? When the truth the whole time has been somewhere near the middle. Yet I used to get going. He ain't here today. The amount of times Staffy would come at me. Why are you blaming the players and not being more aggressive towards the Amorim situation? Because they both need to be addressed simultaneously. And we are losing that as football fans. The ability to say the manager had a stinker today, but don't let me get away from the fact that player missed 3 sitters. He let the ball go through his legs and the goalkeeper dived the wrong. We had this with Onana. Onana dived the wrong way for a shot. I'm not going to ignore that just because the manager's system isn't quite working. And because we lose that, that's when I get annoyed. Like now everybody wants to protest the owners out. Well, when I was moaning about the owners 4 or 5 weeks ago, the same amoebas were saying, they don't pick the team. Oh, they're not making the subs, are they? Yeah, but they're employing the person. And now it's gone the other way because they don't like them. And the weirdest shit I've heard this week. Sporting directors and football directors shouldn't get involved with the footballing element, shouldn't interfere with the footballing element of any club.
That's crazy, man. The thing is, there's a fine balance because a lot of these people want, managers to have all control. And I'm like, bro, we had this at Chelsea, right? And we ended up having a team full of players in just mishmash systems, bro. Yeah. We had players from Sarri, we had players from Lampard, we had players from Tuchel. Yeah. And that's why they ended up getting sold. Say that again, KJ?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. That was the whole thing with Ten Hag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you need to have a balance here. You need to have a model where it's upstairs that are structuring everything and they're controlling most of the things, but that model needs to be flexible in actually, giving the manager the right tools they need to succeed. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I totally agree. Quest here says the only caveat is all these teams keep adding quality, but only 3 trophies are up for grabs and only one Big Six team won something. The rest went to Palace and Newcastle. Quest, also, I agree with Quest here to a certain degree. We do this whole thing about all that matters in football is winning those trophies. And there's an element of truth to that comment. But again, it's polarized. There's hyperbole attached to it because it isn't all that matters. Because I actually think that, and I know this, and people push on the polarization of this. As long as if your team is good enough to win the Premier League and you're genuinely good enough, whether you win it or not, by and large, football fans are happy. Of the big clubs that spend what we all spend, if you're competing for your league title and if you're consistently good, fans can handle not winning the trophies. They might go at some point, oh, look, this manager's had enough. He's had 2 or 3 years, can't get us over the line, try it else. But the reason I think that a lot of Chelsea, a lot of United, a lot of Spurs, definitely fans are angry, Arsenal were for a long time, is because you're nowhere near that level and it feels like your ownership keep making mistakes, whether it be bad appointments of managers, whether it be bad recruitment or selling the wrong players. They're always kind of undermining you and knocking you back a few years. And that's where I agree with Quest. This idea of just, if you don't win, like if, for instance, you guys bring in Liam Rosenior, you're playing brilliant, you make top 4, you win the FA Cup, and then next year you challenge for the league title but don't win anything, I wouldn't necessarily go, he's got to go now, blow it all up, he's a failure, he didn't win the league. It is about where you sit. Could you win it next year with him? Yeah, maybe. Well, then keep him. We haven't always got to, I think we always want to burn the house down all the time, which is crazy.
Well, Terry, we need to be, we basically, the level that we need to be at, because at the end of the day, yeah, like trophies aren't a guarantee, but you want to be able to say, this team is ready to win the league. Yeah. You want to be able to say every season we're going to compete, right? I'm using Arsenal as an example right now. People will be surprised by that, but bro, I have to look at it objectively. The last 3 years, they've been able to confidently say that we're going to compete, right? The first year they competed, Terry, no one expected it. There was even fans that were saying, yo, Arsenal ain't going to finish in the top 5. But I remember when we played these lot in pre-season and they beat us 4-0, I was arguing with Chelsea fans because people think I just hate Arsenal. I was literally arguing with Chelsea fans saying, yo, Arsenal are serious this season. I saw it in pre-season. So what I'm seeing in the season now, their first game against Palace, you know, the way they were playing, I wasn't surprised by it. But they've got themselves in a position where start of every season, they're like, yeah, we're going to compete. And that's where Chelsea need to get to, yeah? In order to actually win the Prem, bro. You can't be, oh, I don't know if I'm going to compete 4 years deep after spending all this money. I've given these guys more than enough time now. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Terry. I've given them more than enough time.
I hear that completely. I've got a few more super chats and I want to get, me and KJ spoke a lot this week about United. I can't wait to get Staffy's takes on it, but I want to go back to the days when I didn't know all the nuances about clubs and how they operate. Ignorance was bliss back then. Bro, I don't disagree, but equally, for me, Captain, and I love this super chat, brother, it's a great one. I want football fans to start showing a little bit more morality. And in the last 48 hours, what I've seen, and I've been calling this out for years, and it bothers me something chronic. Do you know what? And we saw this in politics, and it used to make me laugh, and it didn't really impact me, especially in the States. You would see people go onto a university campus and read a quote about immigration and say Trump said it, and you'd see the students go crazy. He's evil. He's evil. I'd listen to it, go, that's fucking pretty harsh. And then they go, actually, they'd play a video, and it was Obama saying it, and they'd go, oh, actually, no, I get what Obama means now. And what I learned in that process was that people often don't judge someone's actions based on what they do. It's who does it. We see it in our little football content creator world. Not to name any names. There's a certain man that can be vile and abusive online. Everyone goes, oh, he's a character, isn't he? Well, you know, if Don Robbie did that, they'd want him arrested and put in prison. That goes on all the time. So I agree with you. Can we agree that a heavy dose of skepticism needs to be paid towards whose pence?
Whose tackles
those tackles ended careers. Pence? Who's Pence? The only Pence I know right now, I don't know any Pence. I don't know. Maybe you mean somebody else. Let us know in the comment section. Staffy, it's been a mad week for Man United as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be on his way back to the club. What do you make of that? What do you make of the idea of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming back during Man United's most recent crisis?
Not a big fan of it. By the way, sorry for being late. There's a mix of taking a nap, waking up a little bit late, and then I just realized my internet wasn't even working. It was in and out. So it's a great morning for me.
Now, imagine doing that after saying to the man, "Can we do half an hour earlier?" And then you don't even
and that's the worst part about it. I was like, should I lie and say I forgot that you guys said yes, or should I just own up and say I took a nap? And I was like, you know what, bro, I'm not Amorim. I'll just admit that I missed the time. That's all.
I was just about to say that. Take accountability, unlike fucking Maresca and Amorim, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not Amorim, bro. I take accountability. But no, I'm not a big fan of the Ole idea. Who would have thought, by the way, from us speaking last week, a week later, we'll be talking about Amorim already got sacked, because we haven't spoken on Straight Facts since that happened. Because I swear he got sacked on Monday.
Yeah.
And then now we're talking about Ole. It's I don't know what to make of it. Not a big fan of the idea. I actually made a tweet and it kind of went viral. I put a tweet with his results of that got him sacked basically, and he had like 1 win and like 6 losses, something like that, in his last 7. I can't believe it. I can. It shows you the lack of preparation. It shows you where this club is at when it comes to being organized and having everything together. People could sit here and debate that Emma probably would have gotten sacked if he didn't speak against the board and he said, "Oh, I came here to be a manager, not a coach," and all that. And some of them are actually valid when they say maybe it's not all about the results and it was more about speaking against them. But to talk about Ole in 2026, when we've been there, done that, and we know it failed, to me, that's shocking. We love Ole. I don't think if you could see it, but I have an Ole scarf on the wall behind me right here. That just shows you that I actually do appreciate him for what he's done at United as a player and a manager. His time at United was probably the best we've had in a while in terms of togetherness when it comes to the fan base. Like you ask KJ and Terry, they'll tell you that probably it was the most that we were together as a fan base, even though we didn't really win anything under him. But that was the most we felt good as fans. But we've seen him come and take over at United, be an interim. People like Rio foolishly saying, give him a contract. Oh, let him put whatever number he wants. It didn't work out. He's an ex. You don't go back to your ex. Plain and simple. That's my approach to it. You need something new. You need something refreshing. We've seen how far Ole can take us. I'd much rather give the job to Carrick than to him, because even if you want to objectively speak, since they both left United, and everyone remembers Carrick was there for like 2-3 games, and then he went to pursue coaching on his own, him and McKenna, and we all know that Carrick generally in the last 3 to 4 years has actually achieved more and learned a lot more as a coach than Ole did. Ole sat most of the last 3 to 4 years at home. He took the Besiktas job and then got sacked within a year, and that's it. I don't think there's any credentials that tell you that Ole right now should be. It reminds me of like when Chelsea hired Lampard twice. Come on, we shouldn't be doing
that. And keep telling you are the same.
We should not be nowhere near this deal. You know what I'm saying?
Because people kept telling me the same thing they're telling you, man. This is what I mean. Like, bro, our clubs right now are twins. Yeah,
it's a lot of sentiment, bro.
Getting told the same thing. Yeah, oh, it's gonna bring a good feel-good factor.
He's a club legend. Yeah. Like, bro, like, come on. Like, Lampard probably did well that one season when you had the transfer ban. He had to promote all these kids. I think he did for his level of experience at the time. That was decent. I think Ole did the same thing. He came in after Jose Mourinho. We did well for a large part. He brought us all together. Maybe should have never gotten that contract after the PSG win, but we were reactionary. We had the good times. We had the bad times. He did give us a couple good squads. I'll be honest with you. The lockdown squad was a very good squad. We did go that one season when we didn't lose any games away from home, but you can also argue there was no fans. So is it really an away game? He's had his ups, he's had his downs. My point is, we've been there, we tried that, it didn't work out. I'm telling you right now, if you give him the job, I do think this United team can still get top 4, and that's been my notion the whole season. So it's probably not going to change now. Look at the league; it's way too open. But he comes in, he gets his top 4. Half the fan base is going to sit there and he's going to say, "Give him the job, give him the job, give him the job," and I don't want to tempt it. I don't want to tempt it. I don't want to have these conversations in 4 or 5 months. I just want to avoid them collectively. So, Ole, I'm sorry. Like, nothing personal. I just don't like this move.
With that last part though, about the fearing that they would listen to the fans and sign him up and stuff. You got to remember, these are still different people, you know? And listen,
But
I
KJ, you
don't
talk
think
about so much how you don't trust them to make decisions. There you go. That's a decision.
well, who said they don't trust who to make decisions?
Like us right now as fans, how much are we been speaking about Ineos saying like, do we trust them to get the next appointment right? I don't want to put us in a situation where we're with people that I mean, listen, whether you feel it or not, or you think so or not, it is proven they haven't been making that great of decisions. People have been asking for people like Barada and Wilcox or whatever to be held accountable a little bit for some of the recent decisions, whether it's Ten Hag, whether it's what's his name, Amorim, whether it's firing what's the guy that we got from Dan Ashworth. These are all decisions that they have proved that they were wrong at. We don't trust them to get the right next appointment correct, which is fair enough for all of us to say that. I don't want to be in that decision because I don't trust you. If you had some credit to back, I'll trust you to do the right thing. But I can't trust that in 4 or 5 months we're winning games and the fans are asking for it and they're fuck it. They're like fuck it. I'm gonna do it.
I agree somewhat, but so does the gym and the board. Because if people actually, this has been maybe my bugbear this week. People are either choosing to ignore segments of, or they're not reading the reports from some fairly credible places. And if anything comes in that's supportive of Wilcock, it's no PR, must be liars. And then they don't read the next paragraph where it says, but there is massive pressure growing on Wilcock. And what we are told, and our insiders tell us, is if the interim appointment doesn't work out well for United, his job will go. And then I read that and I say, well, that's right, because you're meant to delegate the ownership. I agree with people in this regard. I don't want Sir Jim making footballing decisions. Should he have conversations as he owns part of the football club and ask questions? Yeah, of course he should. We could all see the shape wasn't working. So the idea that suddenly Sir Jim saying in a meeting, I think we should think about going to a back four, and everyone goes, how dare he? He's not qualified. Well, then you've got to shut your mouth as well. Because you ain't, if he ain't qualified, you ain't qualified.
Apparently, our football director ain't qualified to say that either. You know what I mean? Because he can't say it.
Exactly. It's all too much. I agree with Staffy. I don't want it to be. If Ollie comes in, and I will say this correct so Staffy doesn't get angry, I will objectively be backing it in the sense of I want him to do well. I want him to deliver. I will celebrate if we win. But of course, I'll criticize if he does something wrong.
Why would I be angry at that?
Because you don't like the word objectively, so backing something. Remember, we had that big debate. Objectively backing it, you don't like, right?
That came to player signings where you thought they're not good enough, but the club signed them anyways.
Yeah, and I said, of course, when they're on the pitch, I want them to do well. Oh look, the internet's gone. It's sending you a message. The universe sending you a message.
Barada sending some signals over them sides, boy.
Yeah, I just sort of look at it and think to myself that there's something I'm fearful when it comes to Ollie. And it's just how it ended with him, where I think with Michael Carrick, I think we're just on to a better. I want it to be Carrick. Yeah. But either way, whoever it is, Wilcock and co have got to get this interim appointment absolutely correct. They have to get it correct.
I got a call.
I don't want it to be Ollie.
This is the worst thing fucking streaming on your phone now. You get a call, you get kicked.
Just scroll down, just put your phone on Do Not Disturb and it won't go wrong. Put it on Do Not Disturb. That's why if anyone ever calls me, you never get an answer, because my phone's always on Do Not Disturb because I'm a streamer, and every streamer's phone should be on Do Not Disturb, and we shouldn't have no push messages on. If you're a proper streamer, you know these things. KJ, where's your head at with all of this though, bro? Because obviously we go into the FA Cup this weekend. Fletcher's still in charge, and there is some talk that Fletcher they might just stick with Fletcher.
So here's the thing. So we know what Ollie is. I'm not one of those people who's scared of him getting a job at the end of it, because I don't think it'll just ever happen. You're telling me in the summer, when you've got the likes of Nagelsmann, Carlo Ancelotti, Tuchel, you got all the guys in the Premier League out of contract, Glasner, Silva, Areola, you got the likes of Kieran McKenna, who they like as well, coming to the end of the summer. You got all these options at the end of the summer, and telling me they're going to just ignore all of that and just go with Ollie. As much as people don't trust Ineos and have made some bad decisions, I do think they do try and learn from their previous mistakes. So they may make a mistake, but they make a new one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, I'm not worried about that. Personally, for me, if we're going to go with an interim, if you go with someone like a Carrick, you are technically also slightly setting up for next season, because he will try and bring some modern attributes to the game, to how we play, where you can see, all right, cool, a manager comes in, it's a starting block that they've already started with this interim manager. Whereas Ollie, it's not going to be like that. It literally just be sound, try and win how we can, and then don't even think about how it's going to end up at the end of the summer with the next manager. We're just getting through. So for me, I'd rather the Carrick, because that would, for me, I believe, will show some kind of planning. It will show some kind of foresight into how we want to play. This is where Jason Wilcox's job is on the line and should be pressured and should be judged from now on, because now he's, for the first time, if you look at the timeline of his role at Manchester United, this is the first time he's had complete footballing control over the vision of Man United. This is where he gets judged. You can't blame Barada for bringing in Amorim when he didn't want him. You can't blame Ashworth, who's above you and was suggesting Southgate and that man there. And you can't blame Amorim because he's the guy that you didn't want. You know what I mean?
That's also the Ashworth stuff that I push back on as well, KJ, because as much as people go, should have listened to him. No. He wanted Southgate. It's we forget the detail. Like there is, I think it's called a rosy retrospective. We sort of forget the detail. Ashworth was advocating the Southgate. As much as it's gone wrong with Ruben Amorim, I still don't. If I had a magic wand, I would not go back and say, bring me Gareth Southgate. There's a comment here I want to go to. I think it's really important. It says, Terry, the boss wants to micromanage. You have to trust the people you employ or change your employees. Hang on. Where is the evidence they want to micromanage? What the reports have said, as far as I've read them, is in meetings which are about reviewing what you're doing, which everybody has, they have made suggestions. Now, in those suggestions, the only reason they're there is because we're winning 1 in 3 games. So again, in life, my message to all of you that are employed, I don't like being micromanaged, but you know, I never got micromanaged once in my entire career. And I'm going to sound arrogant, but I don't care, because I smashed every single job I ever had. I was always nationally one of the best performers in any company I ever worked for. So no one micromanaged me. Everyone left me. In fact, my one-to-ones used to go essentially like this. My one-to-ones were literally, how you doing, Terry? Yeah, I'm good. Numbers are great again. Do you need any help? Not really, boss. Let me know if you do. Of course I will.
You know the line they like. What can we do to help you? What can we do to help you?
Nothing. Smashing it. Or most of the time, more pay or more bonus, please, is what I'd normally ask for. So if you don't want to be micromanaged in life, deliver. Most people that do a brilliant job, invariably, you don't get micromanaged, you don't get performance managed out or sacked or made redundant, unless the company's absolute, like the company, someone somewhere's done something crazy. But generally, if you're a massive asset and you're doing a fantastic job, you're normally pretty safe in a job, unless it's an industry that's just collapsing, as an example. But as a general rule, you're normally okay. And as football managers, especially, if you're killing it, if you're doing a great job, you will not be micromanaged. They rarely sack you. And you definitely don't get made redundant.
And it's funny, he says there, you have to trust the people you employ or change your employees. But we changed the employee. We're changing Amorim. You know what I mean? So like, people will say these kind of lines, but then the outcome of what they're saying has happened, but they're still upset. So for me, it don't make sense. I'm not saying you, old Mickey. I don't even know who you support or anything like that. But in general, it's happened that way.
You know what they had with Amorim, bro? First of all, by the way, if I lag again, I'll just join with my phone, but I think I'm good now. You know what happened with him? I forgot the term. Don will know because he works in HR. What's it called when an employee is really doing bad at a company, but before they can't just fire you, they have to put you under a performance enhancement.
Performance plan, yeah.
KJ's on one.
Performance plan.
Really.
Performance plan, is that what it's called?
Yeah, you get performance plan or performance review. It varies.
Yeah.
And that's 100% what I think in a footballing sense that happened with Amorim. Because what a lot of people won't know, because you mentioned there, a lot of people didn't even work these, I wouldn't say in football, but like high level jobs like that, where like sometimes you can't just get fired right away. You have to be put under a performance review. They have to tell you, all right, clearly you're failing at your job. You're not performing to the level that we trained you or we expected you to do. This is what we're going to do over the next like month or so. And if you still don't improve, then we're going to get rid of you. I'm convinced to a footballing level, that is what happened with Amorim. Because when people say micromanaging, this is not a Maresca situation with Chelsea, where after every game they're like, why didn't you play this player? Why did you play that player? Why didn't you try this? Why did you try that? They do micromanagement at Chelsea. Here, this guy was having a 32% win rate. That is different. If you have a 32% win rate and you're sporting directors and technical directors and everyone above you is like, yeah, we can't micromanage him. We hired him to do a job. Let him do the thing. Then what the fuck is the point of you? Your manager basically allowing you to continue to sink and fail at your job, and you're saying, oh, you can't micromanage him, leave him alone, so don't say nothing. That doesn't work in the real world.
Sorry, Dom, I need to add this. You know what's mad about the whole thing as well?
Go on.
Amorim asked to leave. He said, I want to leave the club. People are missing this. They acting like Amorim was this guy who was saying, Jason, give me players. Let me stay. Let me fight for what I'm doing. I'm begging you. Let me try and make this work. Just give me players. He wasn't saying that. He went to, they had a discussion about what happened on against Wolves. He said, I need new players. Jason said, well, I can't give you new players right now, but we can work through it. Well, let's look at the formation. Let's look at the tactics. He said, nah, bond that. I don't want that. I want to leave the club. I'm going to call my agent. Stop acting like this guy didn't want to go.
He knew the walls were closing in, bro.
Exactly. And on top of this, KJ, let's add some more context as well. Amorim did request signings in the this transfer window, okay? And they weren't given. And we were told it wasn't, and people go, oh, we're refusing to buy. Read again, the summer will tell us a lot. But the reason that we didn't buy is because Manchester United are essentially saying that the big targets we have, the top players we want to buy, are not available right now. And we know they're not available because no one's getting Elliot Anderson. No one's getting Wharton. It doesn't look like anyone's going to get Belieber. This man, according to the reports, wanted us to go out and drop fairly big money on Conor Gallagher just to give him a little bit more mobility. And for me, I am not going to advocate. But and this is the thing for me. I can't look at it and say that's the right way to behave. That's the right thing to do. It isn't. And some people go, there's no proof it was Gallagher. Show me a link to a midfielder we've had from a credible journalist in the last 3 or 4 weeks, other than Anderson, of a midfielder that was deemed by the insiders that know as available. And by the way, if Elliot Anderson was available, Man City would be dropping the money on him right now. And they've got to wait to the summer. I can't ignore all this stuff.
Gallagher might not even be the profile that upstairs want, because that's probably not how they visualize football. You know what I mean? So to me right now, if I'm looking at it as a United fan right now, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, these man made a massive mistake with Amorim, right? And for me, I think Berardo should get sacked. Yeah, but if he's gonna stay, then at least he's not giving this manager that's been on fuckery the type of players that he wants. Because I'm telling you now, Gallagher will come in and would be, really good for Amorim, but he will be so polarizing your fan base. That's what you don't want. You don't want players that are going to polarize the fan base, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and here's the thing as well. Amorim agreed to that methodology of signing players. He came out and said, if it's not the right player, then we'll have to suffer. He said that. You know what I mean? He said that I agree to that remit of transfers. So when Jason Wilcox comes in and says, we tried Semenyo, didn't work, he's gone to Man City, the players that we want are not there, we're going to have to suffer. He don't want to suffer now, apparently. Now Amorim don't want to suffer. Because
we all know why. He clearly failed with the limited tools that he's had. The guy's flip-flopped so many times on his own statements. He's always talked about how he likes the squad, but then we sold half the squad in the summer. Then he said if he goes into the season with this squad, he's happy. And then he's coming out saying, oh, I wanted to be the manager, not the coach, insinuating that he's not getting the players that he wants. The guy's all over the place, bro. No disrespect, bro. You're a scrub, all right? We've seen the way you coach football. We've seen the way you profile players anyways. And just for anyone who looks at football and is trying to get rid of a player like Mainu, and I don't care that he didn't look good last game. So tough shit. He barely played in the first 20 games of the season between injuries and being benched and never started the game. I'm never going to respect a manager or an institution that looks at someone like Mainu at 20 years old and say, yeah, fuck it, let's sell him for 40 million in the summer, because that's the reports that are coming out. They wanted to sell him instead of developing him. And we know how much this manager wanted to bring in a Conor Gallagher. No disrespect to Conor Gallagher. You're probably better than Enzo Fernandez.
You see, that's what happens. You get cut off when you start talking nonsense, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you start talking hogwash like this, you get cut off, bro. Yeah, but go on, carry on.
It's not nonsense. I maybe cut off for a quick second, but I'm still right.
Yeah? Carry on with that little last bit. Because if Gallagher had come in, you know Mainu would be on his way out right now.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I don't respect a manager that wanted to sell Mainu to bring in Gallagher. He might be better than Enzo, but he's not better than Mainu. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and people need to understand before you move on, Terry. We're not sitting there saying everything was Amorim's fault, because
no.
We're not saying there weren't improvements from last season, because they were, but it's all that the debate is how much were the improvements? Because if you're gonna say if they're gonna say, oh, the team's improved, then you need to say that Wilcox has been a part of that. But they're not going to do that.
And this super chat says, I'm waiting for the interview to drop by Amorim because because all the stories before, and then the managers all say the same thing about the club. And listen, it'll tell some truths because the club isn't fixed. But at the same time, he's going to just drop. I reckon he's going to end up dropping just some cliches that everyone who wants out the club or gets sacked says. So the fans go, you were done harshly. And for me, there's a balance in this. He made mistakes and was rightfully under pressure. Right, boy? Yeah. He made mistakes and was rightfully under pressure. The board haven't been perfect. The squad still needs to improve. All of these things are true at the same time. But for some reason, Man United fans who were, some of them are very, very well known publicly, telling me for months how frustrated they are with Ruben, and now sitting there and pretending that he's been absolutely done dirty. And the one thing Staffy said earlier as well, I hear a lot of this, there weren't a plan for if he was gone. They weren't looking to sack him yet. That's why there was no plan in place. It's just they've gone in and reviewed stuff with him. Basically said, we started to see some improvements when you were making the changes. You went back to the 3-4-3 and we looked awful against the worst team in the league. And we want to know why you've done that. That every right for the ball to ask that question. He threw his toys out the pram and said, I'm going to leave. At the end of the day, we didn't expect that reaction from him. And I wouldn't expect it either. If KJ's doing a bad job, I suggest some changes. He does them and he starts to do better. And then he reverts back to what was failing. And I say, KJ, why have you changed your mind? And he has a big reaction and goes on Twitter and starts slagging me off. KJ's losing his job. It's as simple as that. Like, you can't behave like that.
This is the thing, though, Terry. Like, KJ
honestly wouldn't do it, but yeah.
I struggle to understand, because it's similar to the whole Maresca thing, right? Because for me, I literally said to you, Terry, when he made those changes against Atalanta, most of the fan base cooked this guy. Yeah, he came out talking about it's been the worst 48 hours of my life after that game against Atalanta because he got questioned about certain decisions that he made. Yeah, so for me, I was like, bro, I see no problem in them questioning him about the fuckery that he did, because we all did. You know what I'm saying, bro? We literally all crashed it on this guy. But to be fair, they also need to be questioned. The sporting directors, they also need to be questioned about why they thought signing Garnacho and Gyoekres was a good idea when they're both squad players. Yeah. Not signing a centre-back was a good idea when Cole wasn't going to be here for the whole season.
Balance.
Right? You got to have some balance here, So I don't understand how people can have a go at the guys above for looking at something that isn't working and questioning it, bro. Like, that's their job. You know what I mean, bro?
I hear that. Josh here says, Staffy, we don't want him to have the job full time. Come in and do your 6 months and thank you and say how it ended, Terry. Curious who was in his squad that he didn't want. Why are we? Well, I'm not doing revisionism. Come on, Josh. I'm not doing revisionism. All I said is I'm fearful because of how it ended. And what I meant by that is I'm fearful that this run would be like that. My hope is that we get the first 3 or 4 months, Ollie, 74% win ratio. My hope is we get that second full season, Ollie, where I think we came third in the league and got second in the league and got to the Europa League final. Like, I hope we get that win percentage. I hope we get that. I really do. But because there was also bad elements, I've got that fear as well. That's the element.
Can you do me a favor, Terry, with that super chat, if you want to pull it back up? Can you run a poll right now in your live chat? And for the United fans only, please, guys, don't vote for it if you're not a United fan. Ask them. How many? No, because I just want it for the integrity of that question. I mean, if people want to do it, go ahead and do it anyways. But I want United fans. How many of you guys will want, or you think you will want, or maybe you already want Ole to take the job full time, and how many don't? Because Joshua Jack, listen, I'm not speaking for everyone, but neither should you. Because you explained that you only want it for 6 months, and I believe you. I don't think you would lie for whatever reason. But don't insinuate or assume that not everyone else is going to do that. There's so many people should have just looked at my Twitter post. The amount of people who comment and say, shut up, we want him, we want him, we want him, we want him. There's a lot of people that will want that, bro. So maybe you don't, but someone else will. And I want to avoid that. That's all. So please run that poll, Terry, if you can.
The polls up. 7 managers and still no vision. Still a laughing stock. I knew it wouldn't last with Amorim. I knew it wouldn't last with Ten Hag. So I don't believe. And that is fair. And that's also why I'm not sitting. This has been the one that's really wound people up with me this week. When I've gone, how can you be happy Amorim's gone? Well, I think it's the right choice. But you're also not excited about the future because I don't think we're run well enough. How can you hold those two thoughts at the same time? Because I'm more intelligent than you. Sorry to bunt because I understand my club more than you. Any Man United fan that's said it since Ollie. Every Man United fan that's pushed to sack the manager and we'll fly. Everyone who's ever said that has been beyond wrong.
Also, this is also the first time a football director at Man United would have pretty much complete power. Every time before that, everyone's had a say, and I think that won't happen anymore. So we'll see.
But also, if we don't believe in your manager, it's hard to perform for them. Simple. Likewise with Amorim, if he didn't believe in Ineos. No, I agree. And I agree with that. And sometimes you can start a relationship, a working relationship, a real relationship, a job with great intentions, but you can be 3 months, 6 months, a year in and go, shit, this ain't for me. That can also happen. And that's just, we need grown up conversations.
Can I answer that super chat? Sorry, I don't want to dwell over it too much. Can you put it back up? Because he's saying equally what if Amorim didn't believe in Ineos. Ineos came out and backed him. Sir Jim said that in that interview, and he said he has 3 years to prove that he's good enough for a job. He basically came out and backed you multiple times. How many times were we losing games? The fact that they kept after the Europa League final, the fact that they kept after the Grimsby game, they've done more than enough to show that they publicly back you more than you deserved. I don't know if you guys saw the charts and the comparisons between him and all the other managers. All the other managers, by the way, that we sacked, all had over a 50% win rate. I think the worst was Ranić with a 47, but he's an interim, like he wasn't even like a full time. Everyone else was over 50 to 55. Remember, Terry, I sent it to you. He's actually he's about 20% below average.
But by the way, 40% of people so far have voted that they would take Ollie back as full-time manager.
I don't trust it though. Not everyone's a United fan in that.
Some of it there. This here says Waffle Terry. Lol. Man used to make me laugh with look at the means Barada and Wilcox. He liked the aggressive approach with the clear outs.
Why spell Wilcox like that?
There's things that I do agree with. There's things I agree with in terms of the way we operated some of our business in the summer. I like that. For instance, I don't care whether I like them or not. What I won't change my mind on, I liked how he said to players, we're only bidding when you fully commit to us. I like that. Did I like people losing their jobs, being made redundant? No. Did it have to happen? Yes. You can't grow your revenue by £100 million and employ additional staff that cost you £200 million. It's fucking shit. We're going to go bankrupt. And then where will we be? Then everyone loses their jobs, you bellends. So the difference is that doesn't mean I'm backing them because I like certain areas. What I won't do, though.
I'm glad you said that, Terry.
What I won't do is lie about something being a good approach just because I don't like them. Anyone doing that is a charlatan cunt.
I'm glad you said that, Terry, because I've got a similar example with Clearlake, right?
Why are you saying the C word, man?
My platform.
I like that. Like me and you talking about how they bring in revenue in terms of bringing in players, flipping them, and obviously bringing in more profit into the club. Because, bro, teams like Everton have a bigger stadium than Chelsea, right? But I've always maintained that with that money, go and buy players ready to start for the first team. You know what I mean, bro? So people need to listen, and I feel like people don't listen.
I agree. We're going to run out of time because I've got somewhere to be in a little while. And I promised the kids a movie night, and we're already half an hour late because Staffy didn't wake up. So I'm going to run out of time.
Man. Every day blame Staffy. Every day blame the Yank, bro. Allow it, man.
This is your fault. Thank you, Joshua Jack. Well, yeah, but there's still 45% now saying they want him, so we're getting nearer to the 50 mark. A bit of update very quickly on transfers before we get into the conversation surrounding the title race and that side of things. But Arsenal, a new deal done now with Bukayo Saka. Just the legalities need to be formalised, and it looks like they're going to go for Guehi, or they're going to push for Guehi. Obviously, really good that they're re-signing Bukayo Saka. But thoughts on the Guehi situation as well, gents, very quickly. Them going for him.
How greed
in the Bible, bro. This is the biblical greed that we pray against in Jesus' name. You know what I'm saying? What the heck is this, man? They have probably the most stacked defensive options in the league already. Yeah. And now you're telling me they're looking at getting Guehi and then also looking at getting a Livramento potentially as well. It's man. It's too much. It's too much, man. I don't like it. They're moving like Man City.
Wait, hold on. Where did Livramento come from? Is that the Athletic as well, yeah?
Terry mentioned it earlier in
where'd you see that report, Terry?
Oh, you're on mute, Terry, by the way.
Yeah, who said that, man?
That's come from a
PR or some shit.
Hang on. That's come from an Arsenal aggregator account. I don't quite know. They haven't put the thing on there, but it's what they're saying.
Wait, what? They've got a great timber. Why do they need Livramento, bro? Livramento ain't going Arsenal, blood. It ain't happening. You know what I mean? God forbid it happens, yeah? But Guehi,
it's a squad game, man. It's a squad game.
Nah, man, it's not happening. I rebuke it. You know what I mean? But in terms of Guehi, listen, if he's got Man City on his line, if he's got Liverpool on his line, and obviously Arsenal are calling for him, it makes more sense for him to go to the other two clubs because he's just guaranteed to have more games, right? At Arsenal, they'll probably start playing man out of position, maybe as like a left back or something. You know what I mean, bro? Like, he's not going to be starting ahead of Saliba and Gabriel. And you can argue, yes, there's a lot of competitions to go around and injuries and that. But I'm sorry, bro. Guehi is more than good enough to be playing for a team that is up there to be competing for the league. You know what I mean? I'm very disappointed that Chelsea aren't in for him because that's the sort of player we should be signing. Experienced, you know, he's got leadership. He's still relatively young. You know, he's Premier League experienced in that.
Proven.
Yeah, I don't think for him
AJ's favorite,
that would be
his favorite.
I don't think that would be a great career
What I say?
Career move.
Prem proven. Staffy loves a Prem proven.
Yeah, it's a buzzword that people don't know how to use, but yeah. I mean, Prem proven is a thing, but some people don't know how to use it, yeah.
Yeah, man. I think going to Man City, I think he starts straight away. You know what I mean? Going to Liverpool, I think he starts straight away.
Yeah, I think for his career, I think Man City and Liverpool are probably the best options. Obviously, if you're going to say who looks like the most likely to win leagues and stuff and go on and stay there is probably Arsenal right now. But in terms of playing time, in terms of always being a starter for England and all these different things, I think going to those clubs is better for them over Arsenal. But one thing I will say though, you've got to respect the ambition. So Arsenal was a club for the last how many years? Everyone doubts their ambition, say they're not ambitious, blah blah blah. The summer that they had was ambitious. The moves that they made, if they do get a Guehi, it's ambition. So you can't.
Yeah, but they're center back FC right now. They have so many center backs, and they have center backs that can play multiple positions. They have center backs who can play left back. They have center backs who can play on the right. They probably have center backs that can play in the middle of the park. Like, how many more center backs do you need, bro? It's center backs FC.
I think we're forgetting one thing, though. I think we're forgetting one thing. There is a possibility that a centre back could be sold.
Who?
Not
who? Yeah, who?
Saliba.
Either Saliba or listen. There could be some really good planning going on here that we're overlooking.
Saliba's not bad. He just had a new contract.
Exactly. I remember Cristiano. I remember both Eden Hazard and Cristiano Ronaldo signing new contracts, and a year or so later being sold to Real Madrid. But maybe what Arsenal have done is just kept it like Man United did, kept it absolutely quiet. Like, there is a possibility here that Saliba or Gabriel would like to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona, because we all know what they mean to a lot of football fans. And as much as Arsenal supporters won't want to hear it or see it happen, at the end of the day, when you're an English club, it happens, does happen with English players as well, because Trent's gone across and done it, and Bow was Welsh and he did it, but he was at Spurs, so it's different. But some of our international players, especially, a lot of them, their absolute dream club to play for is often Real Madrid or Barcelona. And I don't think it's beyond the realms of the possibility that Saliba has signed a new deal, but they've kept things very quiet internally that that's where he wants to go. And now that they've signed the new deal, if Real Madrid want him, they're going to have to pay big bucks. So for me, that would represent good business from Arsenal, rather than letting him run down his contract like Trent did, like Konate might do, and then move off to Real Madrid for free. They'd be able to cash in on him. So there is also that side of it as well, where I don't think it's about stockpiling centre-backs. There could be a genuine... I know he scores a lot of goals and he's a massive asset, but if you actually go back and look, 3 summers ago, there's a lot of rumours about Gabriel also leaving then. So I wouldn't be... Again, it wouldn't shock me if Real Madrid came in and went, there's 70, 80 million for Saliba or Gabriel, and then Guehi goes into Arsenal. I wouldn't sit there and go, oh my God, I can't believe Real Madrid want one of the best 2 centre-backs in the world.
Yeah, tell you, but that's assuming that's a thing right now, and we don't have any news of it. We're just going by what evidence we have in front of us right now. And all the evidence suggests that this centre-back partnership that they have of Saliba and Gabriel, which has been very successful, shouldn't be, and they wouldn't be breaking it up anytime soon. If something like that is being worked and no one knows, then sure. But we don't know that. So we're not going to sit here and talk about things that we don't see and we don't know. I mean, that's one of Don's favorite things. He always says, I don't care what happens in training. I don't care what happens here. I go by what I see. And what I see is they have these 2 guys right now. If anything, bro, they should be allocating that money to spend it in the front line. Did you talk about that when I wasn't here, by the way? I don't think you did.
No, because I was going to
give that money on the front line. They've given their star boy a contract, right? I was going to give you guys a choice before the end of the show. Obviously, it sort of feeds into the title race conversation, but do you guys want to speak on what Martinelli did yesterday, or do you want to speak on Gyoekres?
Bon Martinelli.
We can speak about both. I mean, there's not much.
We've got 15 minutes, so...
that Martinelli thing, we ain't got to spend too much time on it. He was an idiot for doing it.
Yeah, it's mine. He's apologized for it. Everyone move on.
Has he apologized?
Yeah, he's apologized.
Well, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, he's apologized.
I mean, you can clearly tell that he thought the Conor Bradley was time wasting. But I'll be honest, bro, like, don't be an idiot. But I'm not surprised. Martinelli looks like he's dumb anyways. The guy's grabbing his knee and you're pushing him or whatever. Like, clearly, if a player, if you guys ever played ball and you see someone grab his knee, like, of course, the first thing you're not gonna do is push him, you know. But it is what it is.
What do you expect, though, bro? Have you seen what his manager does on the touchline, bro?
Yo,
he's a scumbag for that, but we all know it's wrong.
You know what I mean? Man closes down players and that, bro. You know what I mean? Man's off the pitch, not even playing anymore. He's retired, but he's here closing down space for players, bro.
He's annoying, but like that's not the same as pushing an injured player. Because I'll be honest, bro, like
it's still cheating, though, innit? It's still fucking cheating. You can't be
boys, don't get distracted. Gyoekres.
Yeah,
we need to talk about this guy with no shots in 7 games, bro.
Gyoekres. Guys, happy anniversary.
Well, let me ask you guys a question so I can frame this properly. Do you think Gyoekres could cost Arsenal the title?
No, hold on. Let me just take over this, all right? Well, you know when I'm about to cook something good. Just trust me. There's certain cuisines that I could cook better than you, you know? Guys, happy anniversary. Happy 1-year anniversary. I know what you're wondering. What anniversary? What the fuck are you talking about? It was 1 year ago. We sat on this very, very channel that you guys very love, dearly, dearly love. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We sat here a year ago, and Mr. Terrence asked me, Staffy, what do you think about the attacker signings that Arsenal should make? And I sat here and I said, you know what? If not Osimhen, which probably is the best box striker they could get at the time, there's a certain Sesko that they're linked with, and I'm like, I don't think it's a bad deal. Maybe he's a little bit raw, maybe he needs a little bit of development, but all the elements that I think someone like Arteta would want is in a player like him. So if you can't get the best, which is awesome in my opinion, go ahead and get your Sesko. Fast forward a few months later, they get linked with Gyoekres, which, to be fair, we should have gotten him because we had his gaffer, which is a good thing that we didn't, because we would have been stuck with him right now after we sacked Amorim. And then you had Sesko available, and their gaffer wanted him. Their Arteta wanted him, and they didn't want to trust him. They wanted to trust Berto over him. And then when they got Gyoekres, and you got Gyoekres going 7 total games, 90 minutes without registering a shot. And you know what's shameful? You know what's embarrassing? That people sit here, and wallahi, some of the excuses, I'm telling you, they're treating him like he's a Make-A-Wish kid. They're like, oh, you know, he occupies defenders. Did you see that one game where he dragged like 3 defenders towards him? Oh, but they don't pass him the ball enough. Oh, but like, look at this instance here. If Zubamendi played the through pass, he would have registered a shot, would have done this, and that. At one point, do football fans and this is not just Arsenal fans in general, because I don't want them to think that I'm just sticking it on them. At what point do football fans just look at some players sometimes and say, you know what, you're just simply not good enough? Just simply. Sometimes that's all you got to do. And listen, I'm a victim of that sometimes as well. I'm not saying my hands are clean. There's players where sometimes I like to find an excuse for, and it takes me a while to sit here and I'm like, you know what, bro? Actually, the play's just not good enough. It's just as plain and simple. I watch Gyoekres game in, game out. It doesn't matter. I could skip 10 games of Arsenal, which I'm exaggerating, but I'll skip like 10 games and then come back and I'm like, it's been a while since I watched Arsenal. Let me watch him again. And I see the same exact crap from Gyoekres every game. Bro, some players don't need these type of excuses. We weren't making these type of excuses for Haaland as an example. You know why? Because we all know Haaland is that good. You put Haaland in Norway, bangs goals. You put him in what's called Austria, he bangs goals. He goes to Germany, bangs goals. Comes to England, plays possession-based football for the first time in his life under Pep, bangs goals. Pep says, you know what, fuck it, I want to start playing transition. He's like, all right, boss, bangs goals. At some point, you just have to look at players and say, you know what? This player is just not good enough. And people want to sit here and talk about Sesko all you want. I don't care. I know your gaffer wanted him, so your gaffer actually agrees with me. And you guys didn't want to trust your gaffer, who's currently, by the way, sitting on top of the league with a net negative striker every game. You might as well not set up with a striker, and this guy's still winning you games. He's literally carrying his striker right now to a league title. So when you sit here and say Sesko this, Sesko that, anyone objective enough will watch Sesko this season and say, yeah, I'm not saying he's been good, by the way. He's obviously had a poor season. But when you look at the raw talent for him, compared to what? How much did they spend for Gyoekres? 65, 70 million? And he's like 27 years old, banging 50 goals in 2 years in Liga NOS, a league that I'll never take seriously again. You compare that and you're like, you know what, bro? This signing has failed. Anyone who's still fighting it, anyone who's still resisting, anyone who's going to get angry and get emotional, instead of objectively looking at it and say, damn, we actually might win a league and we didn't set a striker to do what we wanted him to do. Unless you could do that, bro, wallahi, you're just not being objective. And I'm actually going to question if you actually want the best for your team right now. Because Arteta, generally, and I will defend Terry, you have my word right now. I've been saying it for a while and I'm going to say it again. If Arsenal don't win the league, I am defending Arteta in the summer. Because the guy, to me, didn't get the signing he wanted in striker. They went for the club signing. He's not banging goals like every Arsenal fan told us. Oh, we just need someone to come in and bang goals. We need just a 20 to 30 goal a season striker. He's not even doing that. And they're still on top of the league. Comfortably on top of the league. And if it wasn't for him, I argue that some of these games where they drew, they probably pick up stinky 3 points because a striker carried them on the day. This guy hasn't had a goal since the week that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. That's how long ago it was. People still want to sit here. So, Terry, I'm not joking, bro. He hasn't had an open play goal since the week that Charlie Kirk got assassinated. And he got assassinated in the first week of November. And people sitting here and still making excuses for him.
Wait. Kirk's wife has moved on quicker than Gyoekres got a goal. Nasty work.
Nah, that's nasty. That is nasty, bro. But the thing is, the conversation here, yeah, is Terry, you're muted. I
was going to say, is Erica got a new fella?
Yeah, no, she just moved on, bro. She's doing up fireworks every week.
She thought she was Goldberg.
The maddest bit is, I've seen her so regularly on my timeline with people slagging her off. I actually know her name, which I never thought I would. That just was like, that's crazy.
There's something booky about that woman. There's something booky about that woman, honestly. And real booky about her. But listen, I don't want to bore the chat about what Gyoekres isn't doing right now, because I'm sure you guys know it as Arsenal fans. I'm sure you guys have spoken about it before. He's meaty, and he's been meaty. Yeah. The question here is, do they cut their losses in the summer? They should. Or do they hope that he just, miraculously becomes better? Because the way Arsenal play, bro, it just doesn't suit him. You know what I mean? It doesn't really suit him. But at the same time, bro, like, I've been trying to give it a bit of time. I'm watching him in the box, Terry. It's not the first game now where I'm seeing, man, just lack of movement. Rice yesterday, they barely created yesterday the game, yeah, but Rice, he goes on the left-hand side, he whips in a mad ball. The striker should be there throwing himself at it just to get something on it. Man's nowhere to be seen. Yeah. Man told me, oh, he don't get created for. I saw this guy early on against Villa. Early on at the Emirates, yeah. The ball drops to him in the box. Man just kind of scuffed at it. And I'm like, what the hell's that? Yeah. I've seen people play him in behind and he takes 3-4 seconds to let off a shot. And then all of a sudden now they take the ball off of him. It's as simple as this, Terry, yeah. he had all the space in the world in Portugal. He hasn't got that here.
100%.
And that was the biggest concern that I had with Jem, because Jem was begging for Gyoekres, and I was even saying I'll take him at Chelsea, but I am concerned about the lack of space he'll get in England. He does not seem like a Jesus or like a Firmino on the ball. He's gonna struggle with that, and you're seeing it right now, bro. So do they cut their losses in the summer? Because I don't see this guy fitting what they want to do. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Do you
Go on,
not
KJ.
think potentially that Arteta's got to a point where he can have the Arteta reprogramming year like Pep did, where because most players under Pep very early on didn't work out the first year, second year they banged. Do you think potentially it could be that where it's like he's still just getting used to the style of play? Because there's not much space. They don't play him down the channel like he used to at Sporting. It is more to rely on the box movement and box presence, which he's been lacking this season. But is that not just a consequence of a new player coming into the league after 6 months in the league? Do you not think maybe next season, after being reprogrammed,
what's going to change next season, KJ? Is he going to learn all of a sudden how to move in a box? Is his fundamentals going to improve? Is his first touch going to improve? Why is Ekitike, as an example, forget Sesko, Ekitike is the best example, because I knew he'd be the best one out of all of them. And I confidently predicted that. And I'm glad to see that he's done the best out of all of them. How come he comes in much younger from the German league, a league that also has had a little bit of a not the best conversion rate lately when it comes to signing players from there. I mean, we just seen Wirtz. Don will tell you about what's his name, Werner, a couple years ago. It hasn't been the best. How come he comes in and he looks comfortable? And he's fitting in well in a team, by the way, that just won the league.
That happens though. But that happens though. Look, I remember Didier Drogba's first season at Chelsea in 04-05 when they won the league. It wasn't great, and there was a lot of talk and rumors that he might be sold a year in. And it was quite funny actually. In the summer of 2025, me and my brother bumped into him in Harrods, and we're like, "Are you staying at Chelsea?" He's like, "Yeah." Then we just walked off. Nice guy though. Like, he's friendly. Let us approach him. Good dude. Not every player comes in and does what Ekitike does, where they click straight away. Rodri took him a good 18 months to settle. I think what's gone wrong for him at Arsenal is hindsight's lucrative, of course. I think playing so regularly has actually made it worse. I actually feel he needs to be on that bench watching, coming on against tired legs for the last 15, 20 minutes of games. And I think he might have adapted quicker. What's now took hold of him is he definitely now looks worse. And would you say he looks now worse than when he first came in? He looks less involved. His touch looks worse.
It's pretty much the same, bro. I'll be honest.
No, I think it's worse. I think it's worse.
When you're in that I call it a black hole, yeah? He's in that black hole where nothing is working for him in terms of the basic fundamentals of the game, and his confidence is gone, right? His confidence is gone, and it's going by the week. It's going by the week. And that's where I'm like, bro, this guy is just drowning out there. He's drowning out there, bro. They're begging for Havertz to come back, Terry.
I don't disagree about the confidence, and that's why I agree that he has to be taken out the first team. I don't think they should just cut their losses straight away. I think they should persevere and try and get the best out of him. But I think he needs time on the bench. I think bringing him on against tired legs in the last 15, 20, 25 minutes is going to help him.
Where they all said, just sign a big name striker so we can win the league. They're winning the league and he's not doing his job. So what are we doing here?
But we're now
you watching game in, game out, and you know his fundamentals are not good.
Hang on. Just let me. But you're now doing what we just spoke about earlier when it comes to the ownership element of saying you're only criticizing him for that because you don't like the player. My point, I've seen world-class players come to this league and struggle in their first season. I'm not denying that he's struggling. I'm not denying that he should be on the bench. What I'm answering is I don't think they should just cut their losses. I think he started poorly and it's got worse. And I think every game that goes by without a goal and a bad performance, he gets worse. He tenses up. The pressure is getting to him. There's no doubt in my mind he should be on that bench. All I'm saying is that he needs to be managed in that way. I wouldn't just sell him straight away. I still think there's a goal scorer in there because I see him score goals. They've just got to work on it. I think the thing that's hurt him probably more than anything is being the only available striker. And I think they've thrown him into the deep end and it hasn't worked. I think if Rodri had just been thrown into the deep end in his first season without being taken out of the limelight, that first 6 months of Fabinho at Liverpool
wasn't that high level of a signing when they signed him at first.
That's irrelevant. Irrelevant.
It is relevant. I'm sorry. When you're good enough, you missed it because you weren't here. I was just giving examples. I say at some point, Football fans just need to start fighting with their emotions and just admit that if a player is good enough, they go ahead and do it. We've seen players sign for big money. No matter where they go, they just go and do the job. No one makes excuses. That's why no one makes excuses for Haaland. I know tomorrow, if you sell Haaland to La Liga, he's gonna bang goals. If you sell him to Serie A, he's gonna bang goals.
So on this, so let me just ask you a question. Goals. So on that, on your both your logic then, because they're a high-profile signing going to a big team. So you all also agreeing that Isak should be just sold in the summer because he didn't bang straight away at Liverpool, yes?
Yeah, no, hold on. You've got clear evidence of man doing it in the Prem, Terry, man. Come on, man. Why are you trying to compare that?
Hang on. No, but so it's okay. Let me just this conversation. So it isn't about a high-profile move. It's a high-profile move without previously doing it in the Premier League. That's the remit here, right?
Yes. Okay. Because a lot of Arsenal fans and a lot of just fans in general had concerns about whether he'll be able to replicate that level of form in England. And that was fair. You know what I mean, bro? I used to see space, bro. Yeah. Modern Warfare 2, KJ, Stafford, you man used to play Modern Warfare 2, innit?
Great game.
I'm telling you, bro, man used to play on Wasteland.
Yeah, Sniper.
That is Wasteland. Man used to play on Wasteland week in, week out. And I used to look at the goals. I used to tell Jem, look at all this space, bro. Man ain't getting that here.
It was the same goal, bro. That's why people didn't want to listen. There was no variety. There was no. He's just technically not as good as people want him to be.
Yeah. So
Brighton rarely have duds, bro. There's a reason why this guy was a dud at Brighton, and no one wanted to notice that. Come on.
So not giving in the get. Okay. So look, as I've said, has he been good? No. Has he been poor? Absolutely. I've criticized it. Do I think they should just sell him in the summer? No. What should they do with him right now? I think he's got to go on the bench, and I think he's got to come on. And I think if he's going up against more tired legs, I think there's an opportunity for him to start scoring goals again. I think if his confidence increases, you'll see a better player that can help them to win games. At the end of the day, he's there. Are they going to cash in on him straight away? Probably not, because they're going to lose a lot of money on him, and they're not going to want to lose money. How do they fix it? I just don't think he was ready to start straight away. It's a different style, a harder league, there's no doubt. Yes, he's older than other players that come into the league, but I think he started too many games too soon. We've also seen proven players like Isak make these big moves with by the way, a disrupted preseason and not hit the ground running. I have the same energy for these players. Give them some more time. I don't think they should just be cashed in on straight away. But he has looked awful recently, but I actually think he's been overplayed during this bad period, and it's made him worse because the confidence isn't there. And you run that risk with players. You can use them too much. He should have been taken out of the limelight, and I think Arteta has got that part wrong for me.
The biggest thing they need to do with Gyoekres is take that 14 off his back, boy. You cannot be this
big number.
Disrespecting.
Come on, remember we talked about that, KJ? Oh, he wanted the Henry number. He's like, he knows how big that number is for them. And now we're talking about, he maybe needed time off the bench.
Yeah,
what are we doing here? If he started off the bench, you guys would be killing Arteta, bro. What are we doing?
Hang on. I wouldn't, though. I'm saying it.
Not you as in Terry. Like, I'm talking I'm talking to the public, to the chat. You know what I mean?
But not everything works like that. I remember Fabinho going into Liverpool, and he barely started for months. And why? And Klopp explained it. He said because he just wasn't ready for this level of football. Sometimes players are not ready when they first arrive in a new league, in a new club, no matter what they've done before. Some players move from one club to another, and it does. Sometimes it doesn't work. We saw Fernando Torres join Chelsea, and it just didn't work. Sometimes the expectation, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the expectation has just been too much.
No, but Terry, let's not use Torres as an example because he was already falling off at Liverpool, bro. Right? That to go sign that guy for 50 M's in January was a fucking shambles. When I was watching at Liverpool,
hindsight,
Gyoekres was on the way up, bro.
Hindsight, Chelsea fans said it, but I was at Stamford Bridge a few weeks after they signed him, and the consent, because I did some work up there, the consensus was fucking yes, watch us go now. So that's hindsight for you. Man. People say these things. I was there, I lived it.
People are fucking idiots, though. That's because people are fucking idiots.
Well,
right?
How old were you when that happened, bro? What are we talking about here? Come on now.
Nah, bro, I'm telling you, Torres at Liverpool before he came Chelsea was on the downward spiral.
How old were you, Don?
About 12.
What year was that when he joined Chelsea?
2011, 2012, something like that.
So I would have been
10.
What?
10.
I would have been 13, bruv.
Yeah,
I would have been 12. I would have been 12. I remember 12. KJ. I remember it. Out
there. Yeah. When he was 12.
I remember it was yesterday. We signed this guy for 50 million in January, and 50 million back then was a lot of money.
Don was in his friends at school. Like, bro, he's washed, bro. Have you not seen him at Liverpool? Nah, you were gas, bro. Come on.
No, I wasn't, man. I was watching him at Liverpool, and I'm like, yo, this guy looks like he's falling off, bro. And I'm telling him, yo, hey, it took him what, like over 20 games to score his first goal, innit?
And it happens. And as I say, and look, and for me, as I say, I think Gyoekres deserves a lot of criticism. I think he's been really poor. I loved watching him last year, but it's things he isn't even doing. Even his movement when there's opportunities to cross the ball into the box, it was brilliant at Sporting last year. Non-existent now. He's standing still half the time. There is something that's amiss with him. He deserves the criticism. If some people think he should be sold now or sold in the summer, fair enough. Listen, I'm not even challenging the opinion too much. I'm just giving mine, which is I would take him out the first team right now because he isn't performing. And I would bring him on for the last 15, 20 minutes of games against tired legs to see whether you can get him scoring, to see what that confidence could do for him. Because I watched a player on Wednesday night who his first touch was a pass and the ball was bouncing off of him. He looked awful, scored a goal, and then suddenly he was trapping the ball, laying it off the man. The touch was there, scored a brilliant second goal. It's mad what confidence can do for someone. So
yeah, because he's technically better than him.
No,
it's just that simple.
I know he's technically better than him, but but that doesn't mean Gyoekres getting some confidence back wouldn't make him a better player.
No, it wouldn't, because he's just not good.
So you don't think if he starts scoring goals and has more? But why did you mention him having a lack of confidence earlier?
I didn't say that.
Or sorry, Don did. So Don, you agree that a lack of confidence doesn't? So you think a fully confident? Do you agree with Staffy? A fully confident Gyoekres is as bad as a lack of confident Gyoekres. No improvement.
I think with confidence, you'll probably see a better player, but I just feel like the fundamentals, even with the confidence, it just isn't there. And I don't feel like the style of play suits him.
And when you say fundamentals, what do you mean specifically?
Bro, I'm talking about his first touch. I'm talking about the link-up play. I'm talking about the movement. The main thing I'll give him is the runs in behind. He does make runs in behind that they don't find a lot of times, right?
The passes, yeah.
Yeah, the passes in behind. They don't really find him there because they like to go to the right and then cross it.
Yeah,
but Gyoekres ain't even good in the air. So what are you really doing with all these crosses, bro?
Bro, a player that lacked confidence, the example was there. It was clearly someone like Saka, because we saw him miss sitters over the last couple games where I've seen him easily score these headers before, as an example. Those, you know what I'm talking about, KJ? Those two outside the foot passes. Actually, it was the same exact pass back-to-back games from Casemiro. Same position for Sesko, both of them off target. And I look at him and I'm like, you know what? You're someone who's clearly devoid of confidence right now. But yet again, the kid is like 21, 22. I understand why he doesn't have the confidence. I look at him and like, you know, we haven't had a great time. We haven't been winning a lot of games. You've been in and out of the team because of injuries and the manager benching and all that. It's not a great place to develop at United. But I look at him every week and I'm like, you know what, bro? Fundamentally, he is a good player. I see his link-up play. I see his, excuse me. I see his hold-up play. He runs decent with the ball. He actually, how many times did we sit here and talk about how he's present in the box and we always overlook him when it comes to crosses? We had enough evidence to look at him with the eye test, and I'm like, you know what? He gives me something. I know the minute he'll get a goal or two, maybe he's gonna go hit the ground running. He goes last game, starts the game a little bit poorly, misses all these chances, and right away, boom, boom, two different goals. One of them he runs to the right, brilliant pass from Bruno, puts it to the other side of the goal, and the other one, striker's goal. Go watch that goal again. You know those strikers. And Don, you know what? You're going to understand what I'm talking about right now. Like when they make a fake run first, then they make the run that they want. So they can send the defender the wrong way. And he opens up his body, places it well, 100% a number 9's goal. That is all more than anything I've seen from Gyoekres all season. So
guys, sorry, guys, because I only had 15 minutes and we've gone 10 minutes over. I need to do these super chats here. Sorry. If Guehi wants to have a killer World Cup, he should go to Arsenal, reduce his load, probably pick up at least one trophy. Also, I think White is done. Yeah, but I think Ben White will get moved on. Dude, where have you been? Almost everyone and people like you already started calling him crap. It's been an old story.
But you say that, and then the chat is calling me deluded. So you can't say people have been calling him crap, but then the chat is like, oh no, he's not crap. You're waffling. Look at the chat. What are you talking about?
Liam appointment reminds me of Brighton hiring Fabian Herzler. Maybe. It's from Matt.
You know what's funny, Terry? You know, what's his name? Rosenior's got more experience than Maresca, bro. Like, he's been coaching longer than Maresca.
That's true. Us Arteta fans supported Šeško's signing. You rivals and Standard FC parasites demanded Gyoekres. There is a truth in this, though. It's all of the Arteta outer Arsenal fans who wanted Gyoekres. It was all of the Arteta inners who wanted Šeško. I
did say it was going to look unambitious, so I'll admit that. I'll never lie. I said it will look unambitious, but if Arteta knows that's the right signing, then they'll show if they should trust him or not.
What I find really funny is when you actually look at most of the players, the Arteta outers back. Like I was looking at Guendouzi signing for Fenerbahce the other day. It was only up until about 18 months ago they were asking for Guendouzi to come back. The problem is with Arteta outers, they hate the manager so much. They often overlook logic. Although, I'll my hands up, I thought Gyoekres was going to be a hit in the Premier League. I thought he was going to be a powerhouse. It just doesn't translate it at all. This year says, I think Gyoekres is struggling with the level up, not only to the Prem, but going from Sporting to Arsenal. The levels are so high, plenty of players would struggle. All of a sudden, the ops have our best interests at heart. Got you, bro. We will win the league and sell Gyoekres in the summer. Are you happy now? I do also agree with this. Like, Arsenal get trolled so much. No, you've got to be fair, Staffy. They get trolled about so many things so much that it's hard to know when people are being honest about them. It's true.
Come on, you're saying you have the best interests of heart. Obviously, I don't give a fuck about Arsenal winning the league, but I'm supposed to come here and give you an objective opinion, and that is my objective opinion. Like, I'm sorry if you don't like it. As I said, a year ago, I said, I think Šeško fits you more. I said Osimhen, but then I said, when you guys were linked to Šeško, I said, Šeško's a good guy for you guys. So you can't accuse me a year later of trying to do an agenda or whatever and saying now I'm mocking you guys and pretending I have your best interests at heart. I've had evidence of me saying that before. It's not the first time.
This Staffy guy is just chatting bollocks. We know you hate the guy. How about you hold on to Šeško? Will you miss out on Europe? And likewise, you, Don.
Cry more, brother. Cry more.
I
if you don't send
guarantee
an objective super chat, I won't give you an objective answer.
I guarantee you, if Arteta started benching Gyoekres going forward, people like Staffy and Don would cook him. Probably. Staffy
Free
over
Arteta,
here,
man. Free Arteta.
Terry's got to go. I'm not responding, bruv.
Staffy over here talking about your team is all that Wolves came to your ground and had 60% possession. Why would Šeško have space?
Stop over here talking like your team is all that. I've never talked about like my team is all that, so you're already wrong. That's number one. Wolves came to your ground and had 60% possession. No, they didn't. And what was the last part?
That's why Šeško had space.
But he didn't score against Wolves. So why is that relevant?
This year says Šeško scored 2 against a relegation Burnley, and it's just confidence. Gyoekres scores 2 against Atletico, but it's not enough to be...
Go look at the goals again.
To be consistent.
Go look at the goals. Gyoekres has not scored 1 goal that's better than the 2 goals that Šeško just scored. Go look at the goals again. They were the 2 ugliest goals I've ever seen in my life.
Look, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. I've got movie night with the kids and the family, so I've got to shoot. I want to thank you all. Please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. We're back over the weekend for the FA Cup coverage, the biggest and the best cup competition in the world. So make sure you're here for it. Until
Who am I playing?
We got Charlton. Oh, Brighton at home, sorry. But you got Charlton. Brighton, sorry.
You're a Chelsea fan now, yeah? You forgot about the
Terry exposed. Okay.
I'm doing a Don. Don supports West Ham and Chelsea. I'm going to support a few teams as well, so that's all right. You know what I mean?
Don exposed again. Okay.
Someone did say earlier, Don's been so much more level-headed this week. The Donstein files seem to have done their job.
I was about to say, if anyone can find us any of his parade pictures when he went to the West Ham parade, we will make another Donstein episode, but you need to give us new evidence right now. So that's going to be the new file.
Thank you, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.
Amorim